Okay, we're going to summarize theories of selective attention, divided attention, the Stroop Experiment, and dual tasks as well. So this is a bit of a lesson summary, and we'll sort of pick it up from there. So just one of the emphasis, what we're just reflecting on theories of selective attention, divided attention, Stroop Experiment, and dual tasks as well. So what is attention? Have a moment to think about that before we begin and proceed going forward. So what is attention? What actually is attention? Okay. Now, having thought about that, there's a quote by William James, 1890, page 403, 404. Everyone knows what attention is. It is the taking possession of the mind in clear and vivid form of one out of what seems several simultaneously possible objects or trains of thought, focalization, concentration, or consciousness of its essence. So let's look at types of attention. We'll explore selective attention. As attention is limited, we must choose what we pay attention to and what we ignore. Divided attention, focus is directed to multiple tasks. Sustained attention, the ability to sustain attention on a task. And executive attention, the capacity to regulate responses. So selective attention, according to Nisa and Beckman, 75, works on types of selective attention and intentional blindness. Asked to perform a task focusing on one group of people, where there might be more than one group of people than expected, and then occurs that up to half of the viewers miss. So there was the Cherry 1953 and the cocktail party effect. Do we need to pay, or do we need to attend to everything? So selective attention, according to Broadbent 1958, bottleneck theory, there's lots of stimulus, but you cannot process them all. So most of them are filtered out before you're conscious of them. So think about sort of pros and cons of that, of lots of stimulus, but not being able to process it all. So most of it's being filtered out before you're conscious of them. Just maybe think about what are the pros and cons of that. Okay. According to Treisman 64, attenuation theory, everything is sensed but impacted by an attenuator, a mental process that amplifies important input. So the only the most attended things get through. Okay, so the only most attended get through. So theories of selective attention, all I want to do is think about and do a bit of independent research. I want to do some research on Broadbent's bottleneck theory, Treisman attenuation theory, Deutsch and Deutsch late filtering theory, and have a moment to figure out what is it, and what is the evidence for it. Take some time and how you would evaluate that. A good place to start and commence is Einstein and Keen 2015 book that we sort of discussed previously. So selective attention, Deutsch and Deutsch 63, the later filtering theory, all stimuli are fully processed, but we choose to respond to some while ignoring others. Does this mean we have infinite attentional abilities? Okay, so divided attention, according to Kahneman 73, single resource theory, we have a limited resource of attention that we apply to the world. The more attention we pay one thing, the less we may pay attention to everything else. There's multiple resource theories. Navin and Gopher 79 and Wiggins 84 discuss multiple resource theories. The above is true, but we have several resources that are used for different things. For example, we might have auditory resource and visual resource that we must be divided between all auditory and visual tasks, but you can perform one task of each without necessarily attending the other task. Divided attention, Navin and Gopher 79 and Wiggins 84, resource theories. The above is true. We have several resources that are used for different things. So, for example, we might have an auditory resource and a visual resource that must be divided between auditory and visual tasks, but you can perform one of each without necessarily attending one or the other. So I want you to have a moment to think about divided attention. Think about Kahneman's allocation theory, which gives an explanation of attention. And on the other side, multiple resource theories give explanations to attention. So have a moment to think about that and debate what you think what are your thoughts on both? Just sort of be able to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of both. Some tasks we do automatically, automaticity, and that was something that we sort of discussed when we talked about the Stroop task. We won't do the Stroop task now, but if you get a chance to go through the slides and do the Stroop task, then that'll be quite helpful to do as well. Change blindness. You may evidence some blindness when you are blind to unexpected changes. So, for example, the experiment we talked about, Levin, Simons, Angelo, and Chabris 202, they asked for directions of someone and then of a person. And then whilst the person was asking directions of the person, a door carried between them. And they switched the actor who was asking for directions. And 75% of people did not know, so I was told to a completely different person. It is quite interesting. So dual task performance. How do we test experimentally if people are going to class use dual process? Dual task performance. How do we test experimentally if people are going to class use dual processing? We'll get people to do two things at once and see if they sort of, get worse. So there are, and like there's some papers in the slides for you to sort of read the summaries and sort of see what your thoughts are on dual task performance and be able to, what do the papers think about, what's been tested, what's the weakness of the papers. Any other questions might be asked. Do you feel the need for more papers? And make sure you reference them as well. So strategies for improving attention, according to the research, we've seen brain training by Savalich et al. 219, sufficient sleep, suggesting the research mindfulness as well. Obviously diet and exercise. So they are some strategies that research suggest can help improve attention. So as that we sort of the summary of theories of selective attention, divided attention, the Stroop experiment, which just then we'll talk about dual task. But think for a moment, okay, why do you think we need to study attention? What are some implications of the Stroop task? And can you take one theory of selective attention? And can you describe the cocktail effect?